everybody. This is Aaron Breitman. A little bit after Rutgers lost at the buzzer to Ohio State, 67-66. I was on the post-game call with Peichel. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with the last shot. Peichel was said in the post-game. It was pretty clear to him that the player stepped out of bounds. If you look at the replay, Peichel was right there on the sideline. And it's actually two different players that potentially were out of bounds. Thornton had the ball. He was right in front of Peichel. It looked like he grazed the line, may have stepped out of bounds. But without question, Taj Holden, who made the game-winning shot. If you've seen the replays, and I tweeted it, if you want to go to my Twitter, he was out of bounds for several steps. He did a couple, side steps out of bounds, came back in, made the catch, took the shot. So by rule, that's illegal. You can go out of bounds and come back in, but you can't be the first to make the play on the ball. And that's exactly what happened. So listen, I hate blaming refs for wins and losses. I'm very against that. In this instance, with the game-winning play, I don't know. People are asking me. I don't know if it looked like to me they were reviewing to make sure that the shot got off before the shot clock or the game clock buzzer went off, which was, very close. But I don't think they were reviewing the entire play. Peichel said he did not talk to the officials after the shot. I know the review was pretty quick in terms of, making sure it got off. It's pretty easy to determine with the way the backboard turns red when the shot clock or the game clock expires. But they missed the fact that Holden was side shuffling out of bounds for like 5 feet. It's very clear he was out of bounds. Jay Billis just tweeted that, Rutgers basically got screwed. I mean, he said that in a G-rated way. Tough break for Rutgers, I think is how he said it. But hard one to swallow. That being said, I'm very encouraged by the way this team played. I love the way they played. I love their confidence. I love their intensity. Defensively, they didn't even play great tonight. And they gave a ranked Ohio State team who's very talented, and was picked ahead of Rutgers in the preseason, all they could handle. And I mean, if the right call was made, they would have won the game. Tough break at the end. Caleb McConnell, going 1 for 2 on the final 2 shots in front of family. Kid's a warrior. Peichel said he was the best after the post game. I mean, he's only going to get stronger from this. This team is only going to get stronger from this loss. I truly believe that. I do believe, as much as this is just like, it's a stomach punch loss. It's a stomach punch loss. It's a, rip your heart out of your chest loss. I do think this team is going to get better from this. I think this team is tough. I think this team is, there's going to be a moment down the road where we say that helped us. I helped them. I believe it. A couple other things to unpack in the final seconds. Fouling, Rutgers up 3, 7 seconds to go. Ohio State has the ball. Peichel chose to foul up 3. I think that's the right decision. I think where it can be questioned is Mag fouled him before he crossed half court and over 5 seconds to go. I think you would have liked to have waited another second and a half to get, and it's a little dangerous. You let him get to half court, it's possible he can make a quick pass and then you miss the opportunity. So I don't think it's, so blatantly wrong. But if they could have waited an extra half a second, right, the shot doesn't get off. But hindsight's 2020. I do think it was the right call to foul up 3. Holtman did a great job of, extending the game, putting Rutgers back on the line for a second time. And then the other play was Mulcahy had the ball out of bounds. You had Caleb on the left, or on his right, and you had Cam on the left. Cam was open. Cam's a 90% free throw shooter. Now, give Caleb a break. He's a 75, 76 career free throw shooter. He was 9 of 9 in the last 2 games. And of course, the announcer said it, which, I hate. I looked at my wife right away. I was like, why did he say that? So, you know, you could argue it should have gone to Cam. Would he made both, and then would have gone to overtime. Maybe if it went to overtime, right? Being Rutgers up 3, and then maybe they do further review the shot. Maybe Rutgers has there's less chaos, and they're able to make their point, and then it gets overturned. There's a lot of what ifs at the end. Again, I really chalk it up to bad break. I think Rutgers played, they didn't play great defense at times. Ohio State came in number 3 nationally in offensive efficiency. Rutgers came in number 6 defensively. Zed Key dominated down low early on in the game. Cliff, did kind of was sleepwalking there in the first half. And then when he got the second foul with about 4 minutes to go in the first half, Rutgers, took advantage and, ended the half on a 9-0 run. Wolfhawk, and Antoine Wolfhawk, the Wolf, came in and played well. A lot of guys played well tonight. I mean, Andre Hyatt, I thought, give him credit. Like he made some plays. He made some buckets. He made some tough drives. There was a charge that he got called on that, was a charge. But he made some buckets, and he missed that layup in Miami, but he's playing with confidence, and I like him. I think he's a tough player. Mag, is just tough as nails. Cam came rebounded tonight in terms of a bounce back performance. Started hot, kept him in the game early. Made a shot I forget when it was down the stretch. That steal where Mag started the break and then very calmly dished it back out to Simpson about 15 feet out, and Simpson coolly drained the jumper. I mean, that was executed perfectly by two guys that Mag, running the break. You're not you're not necessarily looking for that, but he executed it perfectly. So and then Cliff dominated in the second half. Peichel talked about making it a priority to get him the ball. They stopped turning it over. That was a big part of it too. I think it was 8 or 9 turnovers in the first half. I think they finished with 12. Mulcahy is clearly working his way back, but he had a tough layup at the end to pad the lead. Everybody's contributed. Caleb had some moments. He struggled a little bit tonight, but he, defensively was there, and I just, he was that jump ball. It was tough. They were up. Cam made that pass, and Caleb lost it, and then he fouled him. That was a tough play. But then on the next play, he jumped like 5 feet in the air, and almost got the jump ball. He's a warrior. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody else. I thought everybody, Reaver didn't have much, but he had a 3 early. I thought they took too many threes in the first half. They kind of got suckered into that. They hit a few, and then, they were missing, but they figured it out. They took Ohio State, gave them everything they could handle. And I just thought this team on the road, their identity was intact. They didn't look like a mess. I mean, they had a game plan. They wanted it in the 60s. I thought offensively, they down the stretch, I thought they looked good on offense. I thought they got good shots, and I think that's important. Even if they don't go in, you want to, too many years we've seen Rutgers kind of just break down offensively and not get good shots off, and I thought tonight they got really good shots off down the stretch. It's a tough one to swallow. But, listen, I think it's actually perfect timing. You go home, short rest. You have Seton Hall, your rival, coming into the rack Sunday. The place is going to be going crazy. You get that, opportunity to bounce back quick and take it out on him. Just take it out on him, please. This was of the 5-game stretch, this was the hardest game on the schedule. At Ohio State. At Miami, of course, was up there too. Rutgers had an 11-point lead. They didn't win it. I think they learned a lesson from that game, and they played, even better tonight. And it was just so close. And like I said, I hate blaming refs. But in this instance, with the game on the line, it was an egregious mistake in terms of not seen the fact that a player it wasn't he stepped out of bounds and was back in. I mean, if you watch the replay, he sidestepped, I mean, it was probably 4 or 5 feet. It was pretty obvious, and it happened right in front of Holtman as well. So, it is what it is. It's a loss. Rutgers will learn from this. I think, honestly, I'm encouraged by this team. I think this is a team. People look at certain parts and say, "Oh, they're not good enough," or that, this and that, or this team plays well together. They have a chemistry on the court this early in the game season that I think is very encouraging. So we've been through these stomach punch losses before. This one hurts, no doubt, but in a weird way, I just have a really good feeling about this team after this loss. I really do. Pikel said they're devastated. This team wants, they have a hunger, and they're only going to get hungrier from this loss. So it would have been great to have. It would have been a statement win. It would have been a 2-0 start in the Big Ten. This might be a game we lose sleep over in March, but. It's tough. It's tough. But I really do think that in the end, this team is going to get tougher because of it. And they're going to learn, this was a tough tough closeout on the road. And they're going to learn from it. And, I thought that the game plan was good. I thought, Rutgers was prepared. Even though they fell down 31-20. They were down 11 points, right? And how many times have we seen them not be able to really come back? Maybe make a run, but then fall behind again. I mean, they fell behind 31-20. They made it 31-29 at the half, and then it was just a dogfight the rest of the way. So, again, stomach punch loss, brutal ending, not just because it was a buzzer beater, but because the player was out of bounds and the shot definitely should not have counted. But you take the good with the bad, and we move on. And there's a lot of season left, and I really like this team. So thank you for watching. Follow all my coverage at thescarletfaithful.com, Twitter, Aaron_Breitman, and YouTube, Aaron Breitman. I did a video on Caleb McConnell this week on his, growth offensively. Check it out, and have plenty more coverage, in the heart of this season. Thanks again.